Hello, Tamara Buchan with Reclaim Initiative. This is the Advent series, Welcoming the King, and we start today on our third week, which is focused on generational reclamation agents. What is a generational reclamation agent, and what do they do? That's the question we'll be asking and answering through this week. I'm looking forward to walking this journey with you, my friends. I want to start with the good news. It starts with Abraham. Abraham is called the father of many nations and the father of our faith. He has a blessing to give us that is so far greater than we could ever imagine. Abraham was surprised to have a heavenly encounter with the Lord. The Lord said to Abram, this is out of Genesis 12, "Leave your native country, your relatives, and your father's family, and go to the land I will show you. I will make you into a great nation. I will bless you and make you famous, and you will be a blessing to others. I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse those who treat you with contempt. All the families on earth will be blessed through you." Wow. That was a pretty big deal. It was an amazing promise, but it also carried a cost. So we'll start with the cost first. The cost is that God is asking him to leave his culture, his community, and his extended family. His culture, his community, and his extended family. And that's a lot, because in Abraham's day, you were part of a community of your extended family. That's how you did your business dealers. That's who you married within. Each tribe would come together and they would live out their cultural norms together. No one ever left. That was unheard of. They all moved together. And yet God is saying, you need to leave your culture. You need to leave the things in your culture that are not reflecting who I am or who I have made you to be. You need to leave your community, because very often the people in our community are the ones who don't want change to happen. Because as we change, they feel with their way of life being threatened. And then God also asked him to leave his extended family, his support network. And the purpose of that, for Abraham to put his trust in God. And then the biggest ask was to go to the land I will show you. What? Can you imagine going home and telling Sarai, well, I had this conversation today with God, and he told me we need to leave. What? Well, where would we go? Well, that's the thing. He didn't quite share that information. We just need to decide to leave and go, and then he'll show us the way. Wow. I want you to think for a minute about what that would look like for you. Telling your spouse or your family, well, we're going to move. Well, where are we going? Well, we don't exactly know. And then leaving our culture. Right now, people are pretty solidified with the culture that they're in. And to have to say goodbye to that is very uncomfortable. Our community. Sometimes we outgrow our community, and it's time to expand. And I think with what God was saying about extended family was, sometimes the things that are blockages to us are birthed within extended family and definitely within generational lines. But Abraham departed as the Lord had instructed. He was willing to take the plunge and go, because he believed that God's promises were far greater than what it would cost him. Let me say that again. He believed that God's promises were so much greater than what it would cost him. That's another question I have for you, is do you believe that? Deep down inside of you, do you believe it? I'd like to say yes, of course I believe it. But I know there's parts of me that don't quite yet go there, that I'm not quite ready to give certain things up. I'm not quite ready to go the full distance with God. But I want to be able to believe that as I continue to walk with God, my trust in Him will grow greater and greater. And there will come a day where every part of me is utterly and completely surrendered in trust to our Father, because He is so good and His way is so much greater than our ways. That's the cost. Here's the promise. I will make you into a great nation. I will bless you and make you famous, and you will be a blessing to others. I will bless those who bless you and curse you, who treat you with contempt. All the families on earth will be blessed through you. Abraham received a couple more promises from the Lord. There's several throughout the many chapters that we find him within in Genesis. Basically, it comes down to two things: land and descendants. Land represents kingdom. Descendants are the way that we advance our generational blessings. We have children, and we release the generational blessings onto our children so they can bless their children, and down the line it goes. Abraham had to leave the land he was on so he could discover the land he was given. That's called a test. He also had to walk out a very hard test of waiting for over 25 years to have a son. There was many times where the Lord showed up and said, Abraham, I'm going to bless you. And he's like, well, that's great, Lord, but I don't have an heir, so good luck with that. In chapter 15, Abraham replied to the Lord, Oh, sovereign Lord, what good are your blessings when I don't even have a son? He was planning to give all that he had to his servant. But God said, no, that's not going to happen. I've made you a promise, and no matter how long you have to wait, I will fulfill that promise. Abraham believed that God was able to bring a son out of bodies that are as good as dead, according to Romans 4. And he began the process when he finally got his son, the son of promise, Isaac, of passing those generational blessings down to Isaac, and then to Isaac's sons, and to Jacob's sons. And so it goes. That is the way that God designed us. We are meant to live in generational blessings. He has created a generational blessing line for every family line on earth that's ever been created. And with each succeeding generation, as the blessings are passed forward, they get greater and greater and greater and greater. That is the life that God designed us to live. The challenge, however, is that life happens. And we begin to buy into our earthly story over our heavenly story that God has designed us for. And our earthly story often tells us our family is dysfunctional. Our family's been ripped apart. I've only experienced abuse from my family. I don't have any blessings. And so what happens is the blessings get pushed to the side, And the generational curses, sins, and traumas become the reality of what gets pushed forward with each and every generation. So the role of a generational reclamation agent is to reclaim the blessings, to clear out the curses, the sins, and the traumas of the past generations, recover the blessings, and release them to live for them, for those who come after them, their children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, to 1,000 generations. And here's the even better news, that this doesn't just apply to our natural families, but it also applies to the family of God. So as we have a community, we each bring our blessings. And as we say, this is the family of God that I am connected to, we release those blessings onto each other. Wow. Isn't that such a gift? I encourage you to spend some time on this Advent Sunday considering what your generational blessings might be, what might have gotten lost, or maybe you've had inklings of them. Maybe you've learned some genealogy. Maybe God has shown you things. But spend some time praying about them and asking God to show you more. In a sense, be like those who found the Titanic and they discovered the treasures that were still found within it. It's never too late. Amen.